Hey Victoria, I'm wearing your dress. Let me tell you, every time I wear this dress out, people recognize your work. And everybody recognizes your work through your videos because we love watching you. So, anyway, I like connecting with you. Thanks for sharing so much of your everyday and some of your thought process and everything. I really appreciate it. Victoria, Batik Wala, I'm going to post the link down below. Sign up for her newsletter because her stuff sells out fast. The TV's on and something. Anyway, there it is. The TV's always on. So today, I I may do some more in that weaving. I tell you, I keep thinking, oh, I'm going to finish it today because it's so simple. Now I know I don't do a lot of this art yarn weaving, where I use the art yarn as the warp. It's because the weaving with the same lace weight yarn is really boring to me. I love doing that kind of weaving that I did in where I basically paint with yarn. So I'm going to get back to doing some more of those type of videos later on this month. But today I thought that I would share with you just working in the sketchbook. If you guys follow me at all, you know that keeping an art journal is something that I'm pretty adamant about doing. It's a great way for me to hash out ideas. It's a great way for me to play with color. It's a great way for me to hammer out just a general style. And it's also a great way for me to keep my file effects interesting because my to-do list is pretty boring. I'm going to hash out some ideas that I had while I was in Philadelphia. I don't like to generally talk politics with my business. And this isn't necessarily politics, but the hashtag Me Too that's come about has just stirred up, I think, a new sexual revolution um, where women are standing up against abuse and pushing back to what constitutes not okay. So it's a really strange time right now for myself and a lot of my friends that this movement's a little triggery. I'm just a tad younger than the generation that grew up in the Gloria Steinem era. Even entering the workforce in the late 80s and early 90s, there was still a lot of sexism. Both my in-laws are artists, are painters, and there's something about an image in my father-in-law's work that really resonated with me. And I would post a picture here, but I didn't talk to him about getting permission to post images of his work, and I know he's very private about his work. So to honor that and to also just straight up, copyright, the laws of copyright really say that you have to have permission to share somebody else's work. So just be aware of that, especially if you're going to use music or if you're randomly vlogging and you happen to get images of artwork. There's some pretty strict copyright laws out there. I'm going to share with you my sketchbook because I want to take an idea that's inspired by some of my father-in-law's work. I want to use those ideas to express some feelings that I have about some current events. So that being said, I'm going to switch the camera around and do some of that, and we'll see if I'll get to any of that weaving today. I might take a break from it and start back up on that on Monday. So, switching the camera.
This is a book I made not too long ago, and basically I call it my poor man's Midori travel. Well, I guess this is bigger than a traveler's. I like this size notebook, this kind of 5.5 by 8.5 size, and I wanted to try different books for different for different purposes. I mean, this is like this generally is like my to-do lists. See, stuff like that. And then this is like my project stuff for like my my website and stuff like that. And then this is my art journal. And I just have like ideas and ephemera that I stick in there. And then this one I've been using for, oh, that's upside down, for planning out videos. And then this is a project book for my business. So I put this together, and I'll be honest with you, I don't like this as much as when I just had one book with everything in it. This is a little bulky for me to carry around, so at some point I'm trying to find a way to transition into just doing my one book. Going back to doing that. I just think I like that better. It's easier for me to carry and easier for me to work in. So this is kind of an initial sketch of what I was thinking about. And this is kind of those clay headers that I've been using for the weaving, and kind of tying in those mugs that I've been making, those face mugs like you saw maybe in yesterday's video. In some of my father-in-law's work, he had these areas where he had these white masks across the face, painted across the faces. And I like the feeling of that. So I want to play with that form of using the mask to kind of give like this facelessness to these women figures. And I always say that the way I weave feels like ballads, just because I'm really only paying attention. Like, let me show you, like here. You know, I'm only paying attention to the section that I'm weaving at that moment. The weaving is really just kind of is just kind of inspirations moment by moment. I'm wondering if I could do these ballad pieces and those become the dresses on these women, and the dresses just being really simple, almost just like a body covering. And I'm going to play with different ideas for the hands. Stigmata, this one's holding some hand spun thread and more stigmata, and I'm not really sure what else I would do. You know, maybe carrying different things that symbolize, you know, things that they have to carry, you know, the burdens that they're carrying, and I'm talking more like psychological burdens. I have all this remnant lace that I want to try and incorporate into weaving in the weft and making almost like this wedding gown looking type of stuff. And this is almost like a red cross, like a first aid symbol, but in a safety orange. I want to visually represent some of the burdens that women carry when it comes to sexual harassment. And I think that a lot of women during, you know, right in the last couple of months, sexual harassment's been on the forefront of the news with the hashtag #MeToo, and a lot, I mean, almost every woman I know has some kind of trigger behind that. And I'm not saying that all my friends have been raped, but just culturally, it, you know, sexual harassment is just an underlying thing, and lately it's something that's kind of being brought to the forefront of everybody's attention, and the band-aid's kind of being ripped off. So anyway, I'm going to play with some of these symbolisms. I have a bunch of those men's shirt buttons that I think would also be a nice little symbolism to throw in there, and I'm also going to play with different clay bodies to represent multicultural women, because I also feel that women of color, they're the emotional scars that they feel are sometimes even less heard, just because no matter how hard we try, I think there's still a lot of racism. So anyway, this is my political statement. Again, I generally don't like to bring politics into my art, but this feels really, what's been going on feels like an emotional thing that I want to process through art. So if anything, I'm going to try this and make it for me, and we'll see what happens. So there's step one, sketching out some of the ideas and putting it out there.
You know what I realized during Vlogmas is so much of my day is being spent editing film, which from a vlogging standpoint is pretty boring. I'm getting concise. I've got to get concise. I've actually finished editing the video, and look, it's not even 5 o'clock yet. So I'm going to upload that and get it ready to schedule for in the morning, and then go enjoy the evening with my husband, because I haven't seen enough of him. And I think we're going to have hot pot tonight. Hot pot soup. So there you have it. Good night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow.